Hello, my name is Bram Lagru. I'm the founder and managing director of Lagru Partners. This video is dedicated solely to real estate consultants. It's interesting once you dive into the world of psychology, where you use some of the research, and yes, the research can be boring, but you use some of the research to see how that can help you to increase the number of listings, and two, help to sell you more stock, move more volume, and obviously in the process, make more money. This is what this video is about, and let's just see now how we can help you with that. Now, based on the research that we have conducted at Lagru Partners, my business, we've identified that across the 7 different skill sets that all real estate consultants require in order to be successful and most importantly productive, is that there's certain areas or certain key skills that most real estate consultants are very good at. They are typically the demonstration, they are typically influencing people, they are typically getting more repeat and referrals, or repeat business and more referrals. Those are things that they typically are pretty good at. But where are the most important things? Well, number one, the biggest across the board of all real estate agents, the number one skill that really needs some attention is this one, the qualifying. We've identified that typically the best real estate agents have a certain profile, and that profile naturally by default is wired to be highly bouncy, energetic, charismatic, people-focused and the likes, fast-paced and the likes. But the challenge is that they sometimes are so excited and energized to talk to people that they actually are talking too much, not listening enough, and talking themselves sometimes out of a sale. And so qualifying is that natural skill, or a skill that you can acquire by, thinking more like, what sort of questions do I need to ask to pre-qualify the people that I speak with and turn suspects into prospects and move prospects into clients fast. That's sort of things that qualifying is a great skill to acquire, and again stands out from all the top performers and the average real estate agents that we have assessed. This is the number one skill to get better at. The second one then is the obvious one, the close. How do we close and get past all the reasons and excuses for people to delay and defer a decision? This is the second one. Speaks for itself, don't need to say more about it. The third one is that we've seen that in order obviously to sell stock and make money in terms of a commission on that one, we first need to have the listings. And we do see that the people that are struggling here and there a little bit are the ones that are finding too many or spending too much time in the office and not enough with the right people. We always say that we need to be eye to eye, belly to belly in order to make a sale happen. Well, that's also what we need to do as a real estate agent. So those real estate agents that are very productive, they spend a lot of time out, and they always are talking to people that leads them to opportunities to have more listings and obviously find a new buyer. This is the third one. The fourth one is the first impressions. Remember when I said that the typical great sales real estate consultant is somebody who's very energetic, who's very passionate, very energized. And the more that person is really on the far extreme of the chart, and we can measure that very quickly in a 20-minute assessment, the more that means that they will actually push away certain clients that really like a more conservative approach, that really like, for people's voice to be more, grounded, for people to be less bouncy and, all over the place, and be more structured and focused and with a high attention to detail. So this is just a few ideas that I'm giving you here, but that first impression really is one where you need to become a good reader of people and instantly snap it up as to what sort of style a person has, so that you can modify your approach to make that person feel comfortable in your presence. This is an important word, making people feel comfortable. If we somehow are too different from the client or your prospect, we are actually not really syncing with them, and we're actually at a different level. So the more we find ways to connect on the same level, to speak their language and to tune in with their, with their radio frequency in a way, the easier it is for them to feel comfortable in our presence and have a first favorable impression that later on you can build on. If the first impression is not right, guess what? You won't get the listing and you won't get the sale, and that's instantly a lost opportunity. It doesn't mean that the person didn't have a house to list, and it doesn't mean that the person was looking to buy a house right now. The question is only, can you make them feel comfortable enough throughout your presentation and throughout your dealings with them, especially from the first contact point and afterwards. That's really important. So this is the first thing. The next thing that I'd like to say with you, again, if you look at it from a DISC point of view, which is a very general and widely used descriptive or an assessment tool for people to see where they sit. In terms of communication styles, we've seen it time and time again that some of the best and most outstanding performers in real estate are people who have a very high I or influencers communication style. We call it also the yellow one. Very yellow, high I's tend to be very productive in real estate, provided obviously that they've got the systems knotted down and they've got something that helps them to convert. But they have a very good natural predisposition to be very productive in the profession. Sometimes we see in that they combine well with the D, which is the director style or the red style. And that makes them more of a persuader or a director rather than an influencer. But you will see that typically yellow is really what they would have in their style. And so the challenge sometimes is now that, you know, depending on where you are in your style, when you are now a consultant in real estate, if you only have a yellow sort of style and that's your natural one, it means that you may lose out a lot of business from clients who are green, blue, or red. If you have the combination of red and yellow, that means that you will sell a lot to people who are similar to you, but it also means that you will have a natural predisposition to relate ineffectively to people who have a high green or high blue communication style. So it's very important for you to understand all this and that you find your ways to relate more effectively to different people or people with a different style to you. Next, action points, 4 points that I'd like to leave you with for your consideration so that you can really, hone in on this and make this your own. Make sure that you get better at it through all the training and coaching that you can take on because you will need it. Action points. Number 1, learn to read people so that you can adjust your communication style to theirs. The more you adjust to them, the more you are like them, the more you sound like them, the more you make them feel comfortable, the easier it is for you to do business with them. So you don't necessarily need to see more people for it. It's more a question of becoming more effective with the people that you are already seeing right now. Number 2, build disciplines to increase the number of listings. So we've seen it time and time again, the best performers, they have a structure. They have a tightly knit calendar with certain things they do at certain times, and they don't allow themselves to be derailed. They also know that it requires X amount of calls, X amount of hours outside the office to meet with people, to greet with them, to go to networking functions and talk to people and just find out more about them. This is really important, so you need to get your disciplines right. The third one is follow up and follow through. We've seen it time and time again, especially the high I's. They have a bit of a tendency to sometimes be less concerned with details, which means that they will promise the world and underdeliver later on, which means that it bites you in the bum and it will cost you valuable business. So when you're already investing the time, why not make sure that that time is more effective and converts more business? This is really where number 3 is the important one. You need to follow up and follow through. And we know that most business is either won or lost in the follow-up. If you follow up well, if you follow up persistently, professionally, and in the right manner, that's when typically most businesses or sales are made. And obviously in the failure of doing so, that's where they're lost as well. So it's important that you wow your clients by being different enough in that sense. And that's just also number 4. Market yourself differently. Because you don't just want to be visible in the market. You want to be also seen as credible and trustworthy. Because only when you got the two combined, visible and credible, you can also become more profitable. And this is the 4 points that I'll leave you with. Would be great to work with you in the near future. I wish you well. My name is Bram. Bye-bye.